Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, William Morris Slow Stitched Panel. So in the last episode I cut out all these pieces, pinned them in, and I finished the video, and I thought I'll now glue them down and then go away and stitch and then come back and to see you. But I decided that I'd turn the video on again and carry on where we left off. So I'm pretty much gluing down. I've just done the body of the bird and this one wing, so I'm just methodically working through adhering the edge of all these fabrics. Like I said in the previous video, it stabilizes the fabric and stops it from fraying. Now, if you're a quilter, you're probably familiar with some of the fabric glue sticks that you can use to do exactly this. You can use an iron-on product that would stabilize the fabric, but that makes it quite firm, and my fingers and joints are sort of getting a bit worn from so much needlework. So the last thing I need is firm fabric surfaces to be stitching through. It sort of is just a bit too much these days. So if I'm going to make it to 110 still stitching, I need to look after my joints. So I've sort of gone away from using any of those types of products anymore, and I'm finding that just a little smear of this art glitter glue around those edges just keeps it all from getting tatty looking, until I can at least stitch down and get it into position. So I'm just working my way around. So I thought I might as well turn the camera on. There's probably 20 minutes of work here getting this all secure, so you might as well join me as I do it. And my husband hasn't yet come for breakfast, so I'm thinking I'll just keep going. By then I may have got this in position. Going out for dinner tonight, so I won't be able to stitch tonight. Going out to meet a new boyfriend. One of my best mate's daughter has found herself a lovely young man. The jury's out because we haven't met yet, and tonight is the night that this gentleman will meet the family. So he must be nervous, and I'm not family. We're the aunt and uncle, but not by blood. We're the godparents. We're the overseers. If anything happened to the mum and dad, we were getting these three girls. Was how it was all going to roll when they were itty bitty babies, and now they can't recall what it'll be. So let's open it. I can't wait. I need to know. It'll be something. Oh, it's some lace. Oh, sidetracked. Oh, look at this. How pretty. A lady was on Facebook Marketplace and she was destashing lace. So I couldn't help myself. How gorgeous are these? You know, when you're in the right place at the right time, but it doesn't happen very often. It finally happened. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, aren't they pretty? Oh, won't these be fun to stitch into projects? Oh gosh. Some more there. Oh, won't that be fun to explore? And these, I believe, are like random pieces. I've got the impression she was a dressmaker, a retired dressmaker, which which would explain this type of lace. Oh, goodness me. Oh, look at those. Oh, boy. Did good. I'd forgotten I'd ordered these from her. Took forever to get here, but there's a bit of flooding going on in Australia at the moment, so I'm guessing that things sort of come. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Look at that. Oh, like I need more lace, but you know how it is. And this little piece. So that was a good doorbell ring, wasn't it? I haven't put the lid back on my art glitter glue here, so we're going to have glue issues in a few minutes. Oh, how sweet is that? There you go, guys. A bit of a sidetracked view for you. Now, where was I? Let's get this feather here down. Just get something around that edge would be good, because that's going to be really tricky to stitch. But if I can get that little bit of glue in there just to stabilize it, it'll be fine. It's very fiddly, but fun. Now I need to just snip in there a little bit. It's not quite cut as good as it could be to give the shape of that feather. That's better. I can take that pin out. I can then flip the feather up. Get some glue there. And that will go down nicely. Okay. It's just a case of take your time and just work around each element until you're happy you've got them. Got them down. I didn't look at the camera to see how long we'd been going before that doorbell rang. But we should be fine. As long as we leave a little bit of time at the end for me to come back and show you our peacock stitched. And that'll be this episode pretty much. Getting him sorted. Her. Don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. Isn't it the boys that have all the plumage? So it's a him. I heard someone tell me once that peacocks were bad luck. Don't necessarily believe that. I think they're beautiful. How can something so beautiful be bad luck? There we go. So I'm just working around those little extra feathers up the top there. It's fiddly. And my glue is coming out at a rate of knots because my craft room is starting to warm up. And when that happens, the art glitter glue tends to flow really well. So it is getting a bit thick, so I'll just nearly done, but it's an early morning job. It's now getting a little bit later in the day and the sun's just starting to sneak around. Lovely. Oh, love her. Him. I think he is beautiful. I'd love to do another peacock on something, just different colours, and like it's such a great design. So if you're looking for a peacock design, just type into Google free peacock image, or that was actually a colouring in, free colouring in image of a peacock. And just look for something that's got chunky elements to it so that you get to feature fabrics. Or if you're doing an embroidery, well then you just want lines. But yeah, if you're looking for something to play with, that's good. So now it's just a case of the wing can go into position. And then I can stitch them all down. Should be great. Up you go, up there it sits. Beautiful. Let's put the glue lid back on. I might just have a little look at the image again. Don't need the template, so we can get rid of those. Do I have a fabric pen here in the room? Yes, I do. I wouldn't mind putting the leaves into position, so I just want to have a bit of a look at where. So we could easily do a leaf there because the stem of that branch comes up here. So I can glue him, and then there's a curl. There's another one there. And that branch comes from more here. Then there's another one that sort of points down, and that comes from there. Might bring that a little bit further out, just so we got a defined line. Then there's from there another one that comes down into that space. They're not exactly probably the right leaf for each spot according to the image, but that doesn't matter. Does not matter. Might just get that one a little bit more that way because I don't want to cover up that carnation. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to glue each one of those now. That one can go there. Just a little hint of that glue, especially when the fabric comes to a peak. Sort of could easily fray to nothing. So it's nice to know that that's there just to protect those little points. Once I get the stitching in, it's fine. It's, you know, everything's where it needs to be. That's good. 2 more to go. So I will get all this stitched down and then I'll come back and show you. Then we might finish this video once I sort of get my, work out the time left, of course. Then we might get the fabric pen and sketch in some decorative things that I can then stitch at the end of this video. I'd say we'll have time. I'll know once I stop this video how much. That's all good. There we go. Lovely. So my peacock is attached and I don't have any pins in my way. Everything's going to sit nicely. Oh, I love him. So now it's a case of getting my cotton, which is just sewing machine cotton, and stitching him down. So yeah, there's my next job. All right, guys, I'll leave it at that and I'll be back once this is completed, and then we can go and start working on some embellishing, and yeah, can't wait. Some embroidery. All right, I'll see you all very shortly. Bye. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. So I just wanted to do some more work on my William Morris panel today. So I'll just bring you up to speed because I've done a little bit. Now we'll start at the very top with the little bird. So he is done, and he's a he because the one further down I've decided is a she. So this little guy here, he has got his additional little stitched tail feathers just on top of the fabric. I did some fly stitch. Then I have put a little flower on his shoulder with just a little tassel. I was going to do more tassels coming off of that flower. You can see by my pen marks, but I just felt the 2 was enough, so I didn't do any more. Little eye. I did his little crown, I think, in a previous video, so you'd already seen that, and his little legs. So he is looking gorgeous and done. Then I started working the flowers around. So I put some French knots in the center of all the white flowers, and then using a really pale blue-grey, just did some random stitches in there as well, just to give those flowers a little something. The pink ones, all I did was satin stitch over the center. I haven't done anything else at this stage, and I don't think I will. The center was a funny chocolatey brown color and I just didn't like it, so I ended up just doing a few little stitches in all the pink flowers. And then the pale green leaf, I did some stitches down that. Haven't done anything with these yet, not sure if I will. I just can't decide. I sort of like the fact that the pale one has this pale stitching on top of it, and it sort of has just created this little detail. I sort of felt like if I went through and stitched in these bigger, darker leaves, it would sort of overpower this little feature leaf. So at the moment, I'm going to leave it. But look, at the end of the day, this panel doesn't have a back going on it, not at this stage. So, you know, I can pick it up anytime and add a few stitches, which tends to be the case. I just see panels that I've done in the past and take them into the lounge room and add some more stitches. So I'm not too concerned that all decisions aren't made, I guess. Now, the flowers, I've put some golden stamens in them, so you can see, just with some pistol stitch. So the straight stitch down with a little French knot at the end of it to complete the stitch. So I think that's pretty much, and there was heaps of these little flower motifs. So as we come down the panel, we got another flower here with some more of those stamens. And then we got to my ladybird. So I sort of reversed the colours from the lad at the top. He had blue feathers with pink in amongst his little top knot, where I've reversed it. So she's the blue with a little bit of, she's the pink with a little bit of blue. I did a little bit of stitching around her neck, if you can see that. That's just, I went through with a running stitch where the two fabrics met, and then did some little lazy daisy stitches just to give her like a little collar, which I thought came up quite nice actually. Little flower. I haven't put tassels on her flower. I just thought the collar was enough as just something a little bit different. And then of course she's got her little tail feathers just in amongst all of those beautiful patterns. Some more leaves. What else did I do? The peacock. Now that's where we're up to. All I've done so far is just stitch all of the fabrics down with the overcast stitch. So everything's secure, all my pins are gone. So now it's just a case of, like the birds, working out what I'm going to do to embellish her further. So the first thing I noticed when I was doing my stitching down of her is I've got this half flower here. So I'm definitely going to embellish this. I'll start in the center with some little stitches and then do some more stitches around in the grey, the next grey and the next grey. Whether I've got enough greys in this Appleton wool, we'll have to see, because when I bought just a sort of a sample of colours, grey wasn't high on my radar, but I do have like bluey greys. So I think I'll be able to pull it off. Yeah, I think that will be the outside. This can be the center, and then I sort of need a bluey grey for the inner to connect the two, which I think that blue might do it. And then there's a green in there and some white. So I'm pretty sure I have unraveled a green already that might do the trick. Like there it is there. This one. I think that will work for the flower. So I might just keep them aside because that's easy. Now, I just wanted to do some lines on her tail feathers for more of the fly stitch. And I really want to showcase that. I don't know if you can see the red. You probably can't. Oh, this is going to be a bit boring for you. But what I'm doing is just putting a series of V's down on the fabric. I'll do a few and then I'll bring it up to the camera so you can see. And this just gives me a guide of where I'm to stitch. Now, I can just freehand it, and I often do, but I just don't want to get it out of whack and not like the final positioning. And it's mainly because these threads, they're not exactly cheap, and I don't have a lot of them. So I want to make sure that every stitch has its purpose and its home. So if I just have a few little marks, it'll make me feel a little bit more confident in my placement. Okay, that's good. This is those heat soluble pens. Not a fan of the water soluble pens anymore. I don't know. I suspect that the ones we were originally getting were really good, and I never had an issue with them remaining after I moistened the fabric. But then suddenly they were all starting to muck around and would come back. And I just have a feeling that maybe there's some cheaper knockoff ones came into the marketplace. And I got a couple of those. I don't know. Something changed. So those feathers need to come right down. I was following the curve of the bird, but these ones actually need to come right down. So they look like they're coming into the back of the bird. That's good. I'll do one more up through here. Then we need to come up with a different stitch. So the fly stitch will be good through there. But we see we've got these curvy stitches here. I sort of feel like we need to mimic that a little bit and do a few of those type of curly stitches in here as well. Just couching down some extra somethings in there just to mimic that a bit. Thicken up her plumage. Yeah, I think we'll do something in there. You can't see, can you? I'm just looked up at my TV screen and you just cannot see a thing I just drew. So I'll bring it right up. So where this wing is, I'm going to bring some curly little elements through here that'll mimic these two. And then right across this plumage, let me bring it right up to the camera. Can you see there the red line with the V's on it? There's another one there, another one coming on the blue, another one there, there. It'll be more predominant once I get the threads in contrasting colours so that you'll see them. See on the little bird, that's what I'm going to have. Lots of those types of stitches through the plumage. Now, as for the wing, what could we do there? I'm sort of tempted to do a bit of a lace cluster, actually. What I mean by that is we find some lace that is mimicking the shape of the leaf. What am I saying? Leaf. Shape of the wing, and then layer on. I also have this out because I need a branch to come through here for her to stand on. So I'm just going to do that now. And then I'll have a play with this wing. Okay, so we've got a branch coming up for her to be standing on. That's pretty good. So I'll just pin that down as well. A bower. Bow? Is that the word? Could probably be cut off there. As long as it looks like that little leaf has somewhere to attach. Pretty good. I do have a little bit of lace left here. I wonder if we could use that leaf there as part of her wing. Yeah. So we need something under it, I think, to soften it. What could we use? Maybe I just grab a random piece like this. So it's got a bit of a flower on it already. That might work. And then just give it a curvature, bit of a curve. And then I might pucker it in a little bit so that it gets a bit of a 3D feel. I gathered in a little bit and then put that on top. That's a good start. Yeah, I like that. Oh, pretty girl. Okay, so let me just grab some pins to stab that and hold it. Then we need something that really shows it's a hinge to her, like the joint of the wing. So we've got a little bit of a fluffy something happening. We just need something there. So we can do things like rosettes. We can do things like the center of some lace that may be a bit semicircle, or what have I got in here? Things like that, but a little bit bigger, denote something of a feathery look. So it's just a case of having a bit of a rummage. There's a flower there. Might get a bit lost. Yeah, need something heavier, like something a bit more scrolly. Oh, I like that. No, I don't want to cut into that collar. Got a doily bit here. No. Another collar. No. Another doily. Not quite right. Here we go. Here's a lace with a decorative edge. See that shape? That's sort of what I'm looking for. Wonder if yeah, there we go. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring together that so I get that shape. So the edge of the lace was like that. So 3 little elements. If I bring that together, that sort of to me looks like feathers. Oh, you know what that'd be good for? Is the top of her head. A bit of plumage. Oh, pretty girl. Yes, done. So I'm going to pin, there we go. I just went off on a completely different tangent. The top of my peacock, she is going to have this little lace crown. Oh, I love it. It's probably too big for a head, but I don't care. I think it is just abstract anyway. And I think that really makes her look like a fancy dame. So I'll just pin it for now. So I still need something there. So maybe I can still do a similar thing. So maybe I just do repeat and do that again, but down here on her shoulder. Oh, love it. Why not? Yeah. I like that. It's just really made a nice feature. Now, if we embroider this flower as well, that's really going to set it off with some more feature. And then with all of this plumage embroidered, I think she is going to be gorgeous. So what I might do now, what will I do now? I'm going to needle and thread and stitch down this lace, I think. No, I'm not going to, because it's just going to get in my way. So what I'm going to do is just take it off, but keep it pinned. And then once I get that background stitching down, I can come back and add those 2 elements, because my needle is going to get caught in all of that. Not that I'll forget what this looks like. So I'm just going to just take them off for now, and let's get all that underlayer done, and then we can come back and add our 2 little features. So I'm going to put them aside in a little tray because we know they're a definite. Now what I might do is actually I really want to stitch this, but I don't want to bore you with unwinding of these threads. So I might do the dark blue part. Oh, there's not much thread there. And the green, just to have a bit of a play there to make sure that I definitely want to go down that path. Okay. A few people have asked me what I'm going to do with the panel at the moment. I don't have any plans. You know, I think I've mentioned a couple times in some of the videos that I can see this becoming a big quilt. I sort of feel like I want to have it around me in that way. But that's like years and years of work. And I was sort of thinking, oh no, that'll take forever, don't do that. But, you know, I was watching Kate from The Last Homely House. She's a UK YouTuber and she does a lot of quilting. And some of her projects, because I've been watching her for a few years now, they pop up from time to time and she does a little bit more work on it. And I actually remember the quilt. I was like, oh, yes, we did that back in 2002. And I actually quite enjoy seeing where it's come along. And it's been quite a few years. So I was sort of thinking about that the other day with my channel, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have to complete everything immediately. You know, otherwise you tend to make projects that are small and quick and, you know, keep them coming through. There can be the odd project that just disappears into a cupboard and then you pull it out and have another session on it. And I think this one might be that, because I'm in such a William Morris fan and I love the fabric, and I've got quite a bit of the fabric left, and they seem to bring out new packs and designs of the fabric every year now. I'm sort of thinking that this panel will go into the cupboard but will pop out every so often as I add other panels to it, or smaller panels, and it just becomes a kaleidoscope of panels stitched together to make a rug, a quilt for myself one day, or just to have over a couch, or, you know, it certainly doesn't go with any of the colours in my house, but I don't care. I don't know, there's something about this one. It's so organic, I think. And I really like the stitching, that the foundation stitching that was there. I just love how that's come together. And then the embellishment is not too crazy so that you're worrying about, you know, when you want to clean things. So I'm sort of thinking that that's what will happen. We'll finish the panel to as far as I wish to go at this stage, and then, you know, in 12 months time we pick it back up and we do some more stitching and maybe add to it, or make some more panels that could be added to it, or I don't know. That's sort of what I'm thinking is going to happen with this piece. I guess the reality is that when you make quilts and things, they take time. And Kate's got some English paper piecing quilts that I swear we've been watching for 3 years. And that's okay. And I remember the quilt. And I went back and found some of the earlier videos where she started the project. And I was like, oh, it was so good to watch it again. So it sort of dawned on me that it is okay to do a series and then we revisit the series in the future. So I think that's what's going to happen with this particular. Like, for example, this flower that I'm stitching here, the fabric that came from is stunning. Just stunning. And I would love to embellish a panel or a piece of that fabric, and then it gets worked into, you know, patching this together. It doesn't have to have a bird on it, doesn't have to have all this lace. It's just part of the process, part of the coming together of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's what's going to happen with Mr. William Morris here. He's always going to be around. And I guess too, if down the track I feel like making another journal with those papers, I can. We just bring it back out and have another play. It's like your favourite musical artist. You always bring that record out and listen to it, don't you? So I think William Morris is going to be that for me. Okay, so in the process of yibber yabbering there, I've placed a series of random stitches around. There is a little bit of that blue. Oops, I've gone off the bird there, and I thought it's really obvious, so I'm going to take that stitch back out. Okay. Just going to pop 2 little stitches up the top of this flower. It's not technically in the center, but it sort of is part of the toning of the flower, and I've got a little bit of thread left, so let's just use it. I might even pop a 3rd in. Such a pretty blue. We might just extend that a little ourselves. Okay. So you can see on the back there the stitches that I've placed. I think this fabric pack that I bought is going to be the gift that keeps giving. There's so many portions of that fabric, like that one in behind there, that green, had those carnations on it. To work that piece there and do something with it would be just beautiful. And even that one there, there's a pinky one. To have a slow stitch piece with that as the feature would be a lot of fun. Okay, so now I need a softer grey and the blue, but I won't bore you with unravelling those. I'm not even convinced that's the right blue, to be honest. That's perfect, but it's just not the right blue. I'll have to have a think about that one. It's sort of a bit jarring, but it sort of does work. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's do the green knots in the center of that flower next. Really enjoying working with this gum nut yarn. Let me know if any of you have gone and ordered some. If you Google gum nut yarns, you will find them at most thread suppliers in Australia. They are just so beautiful. The lady I got mine from is a lady in Brisbane that I think is down near Mundoolan, sorry. She's at Mundoolan. I'd really like to go. She's got a little shop at home. I'd really like to go and have a look at the whole range, because it was just a sort of a bit of a snapshot of what I thought I might need. And I know I've noticed already that I'm missing grey, black and white, which is a bit of an oversight. They're sort of your must-have threads, to be honest. I love how it's variegated, so when you're stitching, you sort of just don't know what you're going to get. So I might have to it's by appointment, make an appointment and go and check her out, because There's probably at least 3 threads there that I could definitely add. Oh, this is so pretty. Especially if I'm going to do some more embellishing of some panels like those floral pieces that the bird's made out of. I'm going to need probably a few more threads that are more complementary in the blues. What have I done? Have I got a knot underneath? So I sort of need to probably stand in front of the rack with some fabric panels and just make sure I've got the colours I want. That way if I pick it up in a year's time, we're ready to go. Can't wait to see where this project leads us. So hang on for the ride. I just don't want to make it and put it in the cupboard and it just be a pretty panel. If you know what I mean. I've got a couple of them in there that are sort of like that, but they're so heavily embellished that you would never have them on the couch anyway because they're just full of bits and pieces. Because I've built them up as from nothing to something, where this, the fabric is something to start with. So the fabric in itself is just, you know, gorgeous. And I'm lightly embellishing from there, not being too crazy. So there's the flower. If you can, let me get that up to the camera, right in there. You can see my dark blue stitches and you can see now my little knots in the center of that flower. So how are we going for time? 30 minutes. I really want to do more on that flower. So I am going to open this yarn up. So bear with me. Don't like the staple they put. Now I need to record that number, so I'm just going to grab my little bobbins. Now these are from Amazon. They are not cheap, guys, but they're really sturdy. And for things like these yarns, they're perfect because they actually hold quite a lot of thread. So it's one of those things, you know, if you buy the right thing to do the right job, you never regret it. But sometimes I think, oh my goodness, there's another $40. Okay, I'm just going to write the number. Gum nut yarn. I think I will chase this lady down. I need to explore what she has to offer. Maybe there's something new there. I think I've got an adventure there. I must send her a message and say, can I make an appointment? I think we need to go down that way for work next week. And I wonder if we could tee something up. So I'm just dividing this up. How boring. You're watching me now do this. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave it because I'm making a mess and I need to concentrate and I'm rushing. So I'm just going to get 2 threads off and take one. And I'll pop that to one side and wind that on. I'll just keep that little bit because you just never know. You might just want to pop a few little knots somewhere. I know it's tiny, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so now I've got a paler grey. So we either bring it in the centre a little, you know, there's 3 colours there. I'm thinking we do, I might zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm up to. How's that? That looks great on the TV. So I'm just going to work some random stitches in around the centre here. Then I think I'm going to find a pale bluey grey for the outer edge. I just don't think that one's the right one. I'll bring it into the camera so you can see. See how it's like it's a real cold blue, where what I'm using is a warm blue. I think it'll look too jarring. It's not quite right. I have some old tapestry threads that I could go and have a look in, but they won't be as fine as these. So I'm probably better off just leaving it and seeing if I can find a colour more suitable from the supplier that I bought the originals from. There's no rush. Can always. And I don't have an ecru colour, a creamy colour. And I think the centre of, oh, not even on camera, sorry. See how there's white in there? Well, it's not white. And then there's white here, white there and there. I think I need to get some creamy tones, and that'll really make this flower come alive with a bit of a white reflection in there. I guess the other thing, oh, that pin's just annoying me, it's gone. The other thing that could be done is I don't actually stitch that pale blue, I leave it. And that really helps the flower look 3-dimensional, because you're getting layers then. The colours are doing it, plus now your texture is doing it. So I guess we have options. The other thing I could do is work the little leaves. See these little leaves here? I could work them because they're on her tail as well, is another option. I think what I might do too, before I get too far ahead of myself, let's say in 12 months' time I pick this panel back up and I do another smaller panel or a similar panel, like who knows, working the flowers from this navy blue fabric. I think what I might have to do is just write myself a little note of what I've done here. That way, if some of these threads start getting a little bit used, because they're certainly becoming part of my favourites, I will know that the dark blue 317 and this one was what I used in the centre. So I might just make a little note and pin it to this panel, so when I pick it back up, I sort of have a bit of a reference. I don't think I'm going to stitch the leaves. I think if I stitch the leaves, they're going to become part of the focus, and I don't want them to be. I want the centre of this flower to be I hope I'm still on camera. Where's the camera? Yep. Oh, they're such beautiful yarns. They sort of give you that furry soft feeling, but they're not too bulky. Like I keep going to my old tapestry yarns. I've got a few from a tapestry I did back in the 80s, but I inherited through my grandmother's craft room heaps of them. And I haven't used any of them because they're very bulky. So on work like this, they're just a little bit too much. You probably could break them down, but no, I just haven't needed to, because I sort of have these ones, and they slide beautifully through fabric. They're really lovely to use. So I'm now going to go up there and come down with a straight line, just to change the direction a little. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need some cream. Cream will really lift this. And this, you know, this is nearly like a little sampler. We're having a little play here without committing too much to a big project. And if we like it, we can go and get that fabric. And I think it comes in a few colours within the pack. So we could do like a floral embellished rose stitched piece. You can see where I'm heading with this, can't you? I think I'm going to be back with some more William Morris. Let's get Christmas done and the New Year done, and then the Easter Bunny's coming along. Let's get all that out of the way, and then I think we'll revisit William again, and maybe do some other stitchery pieces to add to this. And we can always pull elements from this into those pieces so it subtly drifts through. Yeah, that's looking good. One more stitch. I think I got just enough of the wool to do one more stitch. That's perfect. There we go. Beautiful. Done. Definitely need some cream in there. Gosh, why didn't I order cream? What a crazy girl. There is a very pale green. Sorry guys, I'm just knotting this off. You're not in camera. Oh, I love it when you just have that little sticky bit left. Okay, so there's the stitching that I've done there. And there's my flower. Love it. Okay. That's looking good. The other thing we need to do is I need to lay in underneath this lace a bit of this green yarn. Now this is Appleton, so it's a lot thicker, probably more like tapestry yarn, to be honest. Need to just pin a bit of that in there. And that'll be couched in at the same time as I stitch that white down. Okay, well, what I might do, guys, is I'm going to stop the video there. We're at 40 odd minutes. I'm going to go away and do some stitching of my peacock. Then I'm going to come back and show you what we've done. And I suspect this might be the last episode in this series. Then we're going to pop it in the cupboard, and we're going to revisit Mr. William Morris on another fine day and plan another project to do with these gorgeous fabrics. And who knows where it will lead us to. Where's the camera so you can see my peacock? Got to get a beak on her as well. Mustn't forget that. around an eye in there. Once we get these curls in, I think she'll look really nice. Yeah. A couple of those in there would be great. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause the video. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So sorry. I'm going to pause the video and, yeah, I'll come back with my stitching and show you. And, yeah, excellent. Can't wait. See you soon. Hello, everyone. I'm back just to show you my peacock. She is finished. So pleased with her. I didn't end up finding a cotton that I was happy with for the colour to finish the flower, but I'm going to save that for a rainy day. I plan to order more of those cottons, so I'll make sure that I get a colour that's more suitable. I did use some cream yarn that I had to just put a few little highlights in there. So all I've got to do is come back and finish those little tips to all of those petals, but we'll save that for a rainy day. So I've stitched the lace into position and the little crown of lace on her head, and then her wings are just full of the fly stitch and a little bit up through these petals, and then some scrolls through here in the burgundy. So she is done. Very happy with her. Finished that branch. Yeah, love her. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this series. As I said earlier in these videos that I've put together, I'm going to just pop this away now and then pull it out sometime next year and do another panel of some size to suit this project, and then eventually we'll join it all together. So if you'd just like to subscribe, then if I do something else and this pops up, at least you'll know this particular video series that caught your eye when we went through the process. So there you go, my William Morris panel with my two birds and my peacock and some random flowers is complete. Thank you again for joining me. I'll put some still shots at the end of this video so that you can have a closer look at some of the detail on the birds. All right, everyone, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next project. Bye.